Hello, I am Lise Colucci, and I am one of the life coaches at Queen Being, where we help you to discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. Hi. So I'm going to start this today with, you've had this experience, I'm sure. If you're here, you are here for a reason, and you have probably felt the feeling of, what were we just talking about? What did we just argue about? What happened? All you know is something happened. Words were thrown at you, and you have no idea either what they were, what they pertain to, you're lost. You're completely lost what the argument was about, maybe. You know what I'm talking about? You're left with the feeling of like, okay, when I try to talk about this, I was trying to think of examples for word salad. Okay. I was sitting here trying to think of examples for what it feels like and for what it actually is and how it's used. And I hit this wall of abuse amnesia. It was like this total wall of, oh my gosh, I can't come up with an example. And I'm searching my brain and I'm asking people, and, I came up with some, but for each of the different ways word salad's used, I couldn't quite come up with it because it hits you like, it defies logic. Okay. It defies logic. It confuses you. It befuddles you. And I think it is one of the more kind of sneaky ways of gaslighting out there. Okay. Hello. So hello to, is it Persiana? That's lovely. Am I saying that right? And K Beach, new people here today. Hello. Welcome. Rebecca, Missy Joy. Okay. Hello, everyone. So let's talk about word salad and what it is. Word salad is a form of gaslighting. It is, I have a huge notes here because like I said, I literally hit my own wall of abuse amnesia. I was like, I know it when I hear it, when people tell me, but how do I talk about it? How do I describe it if I'm hitting that wall? So I'm going to be reading from this to help me out. Hi, Shastina. You're jumping from stream to stream. Sounds like a good afternoon to me. Hello, Bonnie. Okay. Yeah, Persiana says you can't remember this because it doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense. You're right. It's like the word dodgeball. That's a good one too. That's what K Beach says. And Rebecca's saying it's not healthy in relationship. Word salad answer. You don't know what a relationship is. You've never seen one. I've been with lots of girls. I hate hippie chicks. I think I see a trend. Yeah. Hello, Katrina. Is it Karina? Sorry, not Katrina. Hello, Karina. All right. So it's a form of gaslighting, right? It is. It's a default mechanism a toxic, narcissistic person will use to defend their own ego, their own position, the lie they're telling themselves that they're trying to believe is true, to get out of it. They're trying to get out of something, almost always with the word salad, right? They're trying to shut you down so that they can, not only that, but make you look crazy. So then they have a reason to devalue and go on with the negative supply that they gain from the devaluing. Hello, Erica, America, how are you? It really is a shutdown to any real communication. Word salad is nonsense. Okay, it's nonsense. What can it look like? Basically, let's go back to what it is. Like I said, it's a form of gaslighting, and it's crazy making, right? It's a way to defy all logic. It's non-communication. It's using words to not communicate. That's the way I feel it, right? Like when you're in the middle of it, you feel like, I know those are words, but I don't have a response that makes any sense to the words you're saying, because what you're talking about is not actually like what's going on in the situation, right? Okay. Sometimes it's things that defy logic, like the stringing together of words that basically is babbling at you. It can be like phrases and unrelated words that make semi-sense to the situation. Basically, if you want to say something short and to the point, instead they'll say it with a whole lot of other words that don't make any sense in there so that the point's lost. Is that ringing a bell for anyone? It's nonsense. So another way that they that word salad can happen is circular talk, which is the same topic over and over. So you might hear phrases like repeated over and over again, like every time they get mad, suddenly you are being rude. Or every time they're mad, they'll say something like, well, that's how you see it. Like it's like a repeated phrase, and after a while, if you watch it, it's like it doesn't even make sense where they place it in the conversation, right? It's just the same phrase thrown in and over and over and over again to literally shut down a conversation. And then what they will often do is like repeat the same conversation over and over again. So it's almost like filibustering, like just taking something and over and over and over and over, not necessarily the little phrases, but like the whole topic. Like they'll have their go-to topics for what they shift blame to, what they shift focus to. Does that make sense? And then another thing is overgeneralizations. You always do that. You always this. You're always too sensitive. You always take things too personally. You always this. You always that. These overgeneralizations. Sure, everyone does them now and then, but when it's used as word salad, it is gaslighting. It's done in a way that is completely takes the point of any conversation and completely steals the focus in an instant because of its crazy confusion of why that was even placed there, right? And most of us, here's why it is so effective. Most of us are people who really like to communicate. We want to be with someone who communicates. We want to understand how to help the situation. We want to have, if we're going to argue, we want it to be effective to the point to move through it and to be over it, right? We want to use any communication we have with other people for the benefit of the relationship. That's what most people that I've talked to, most people I've coached, most people I know who have been through this, that's what they're like. They are curious and they're people. They want to communicate. Well, when you have this word salad thrown at you, you are baffled and you spend your brain goes instantly into trying to figure out how to make sense of what was just said in context with the issue at hand. And you're trying to piece these two things that don't make sense together, and you get completely lost and usually kind of like lose your sense of composure sometimes, or you start playing to the word salad rather than sticking to the point. It's really hard to gray rock. So yeah, that's why. Yeah. And so let's read some of this. Hello, Bonnie. Okay. Word salad goes in circles. That's right. The narc tries to keep you off topic, and it is nonsense. That's right. And crazy making. All the good words that we all know and don't love, right? Okay. Okay, let's keep going with other ways of the word salad. So they may claim that you're disrespecting them. So they may throw insults in there that really speak to your sense of your own moral ground and your own belief about yourself and how you function in relationship. You're disrespectful, you're not listening, things that you inherently are and do. They'll hit you with that, with a negative about that. It's to derail you. It's to throw you off the topic because, we'll get to the why in a second. But yeah, it's another way is they blame shift and project. And blame shifting and projecting is not always word salad, but they can use word salad in the blame shifting and projecting by, if they're, so this is one way. I call it I know you are, but what am I? I always think of Pee Wee Herman when I see a narcissist do this, and I just think I know you are, but what am I? And sorry, but it really bothers me. But they will you'll say something like, it really upsets me when you come home late and don't call. And they'll say, well, you come home late and don't call. When it's not even something you do. It's not even like you're never even out, whatever. It doesn't matter. But it's irrelevant blame shifting with that, like, I know you are, but what am I? Kind of attitude behind it. Things like, Why are you hiding your phone? What's on there? Why are you hiding your phone? Well, why do you hide your phone? So they basically answer your question with a question that is projecting right back at you. Yeah. So it's kind of infuriating to talk about this stuff, isn't it? It's really frustrating. Hello, James. Let's see. Shastina says, we communicate, they regulate. That's right. It's one of their ways to freak you out. It is one of their ways to freak you out. And I think it's so effective. You can see why they keep doing it. It's so effective, right? It really shuts down communication. It completely halts any discussion from being had. It stops any emotion from actually, any real emotion that needs to be talked about from being talked about. And they don't go do that. So it makes sense. They will pretend they did not say something and then change the subject. This is an interesting word salad because I know probably most of you have experienced this. Maybe they mumble something under their breath, or they say something really directly, or they make a rude comment like, why'd you do that? Something really snarky, something rude. Sometimes it's a direct insult. And then you say, I'm sorry, what'd you say? Or excuse me, I didn't hear you. Or did you just say, you respond to it like anyone would. And they say, what? Oh, what time are we leaving? And completely change the subject as if they didn't say the thing. Or they'll say, you'll say, what did you say? And they'll say, never mind, I was just thinking. And that's it. Silent treatment will come after that so that it's done. There is no, anyway, it's a different kind of word salad, but it's in there. I think of that like the little extra things besides the lettuce of the salad, it's, anyway, that's another one. Totally confusing communication that's meant to throw you off. Just talking about things that are completely meant to throw you off. It's all meant to derail you so that they get away with whatever they want, so that they can just not be accountable, which is the number one. Well, it's my number one irritation with narcissists to begin with, is the lack of accountability. So personal issues aside with that one, it's true. It's the way that it's a way, just like all gaslighting is, that they don't have to be accountable to any situation. Bonnie says, or they say, you are always angry. Yes, that one. And sometimes they say, can't you just get over it? That was in the past. Right. The past, like 5 minutes ago passed, but we'll just pretend. It's like they want you to enter into their pretend land, and no, it's not going to happen. Rebecca says apathy, right? They gain a lot of attention that way. You keep wondering what they're talking about, and that way they are the center of your attention. Oh my gosh, so true. It really sucks you. It sucks a person into giving all of your attention. Basically, you're fueling them. You're giving them 100% supply while you are befuddled and confused, and you're just trying to communicate, right? You're just trying to make it better. And instead what's happening is you are feeding the monster, right? So, I mean, we can hear from that what the answer is and how to deal with it. Anyone? I know you all know. Gray rock, right? Gray rock, walk away. Don't engage with a word salad. But understanding what it is so you can identify it. So if you're in the middle of it and they're doing this thing, oh yeah, that's the word salad. There it is. That's gaslighting. All right. This is something I don't engage with. I do not engage with gaslighting. End of sentence. That's my boundary, and that's the only way really that I know of to deal with it. Okay. They rarely answer any question you pose at them. Oh, that's another one. That's kind of a little bit of a different, that's almost like putting a lid on word salad, but it's the same thing. Like they throw in these little mini silent treatments while they're doing the word salad. When they don't answer questions, that's how I see that. I know you are. Please don't use the I know. In your head, you think I know you are, but what am I? Never to the narcissist, because all you're doing is feeding them. Any response feeds it. So, I mean, really, if you still have one in your life and you have to deal with this, the best response is no response, or just nodding your head, or just understanding what it is, but engaging with it is can be harmful to you, and keep you safe and get you healing. That's the point. Although it would be really funny, but but please don't. Hello, Belle of Amherst. Hello, I finally made it. I wanted to be sure I read parts of chat. Let's see. They keep you confused and in this way under their control. They sure do. Well, okay, so here's the point. They keep you confused and they're that way. I'm sorry. Let me restate that. They keep you confused in this way and under their perceived control. They think they have you under their control. If you know what it is, you have like a window to freedom there. If you know what it is and what's happening, I mean, this can be any kind of manipulation. You know, if you know the manipulation's happening, there's a little space in there to have a little bit of freedom so that you're not quite so much under their control. That's the hope anyway. That's why we are talking about it, right? Rebecca, that's perfect. It feels like a fight with a sibling at 7 years old. You know, I would flash back to my best friend when I was 8 or 9 every time. I would literally have memories of arguing as an 8-year-old child with a very stubborn 8-year-old child who was my friend. And yet it was a grown-up person. So you're right. Let's see. We can answer them. Pass the salad dressing, please. I like that you have humor about this, Bonnie. But it is, you have to, right? Or else it's drowning. Okay, so what do you feel when you get hit with these word salads? Or do you have any other examples? I like all these examples. I think it helps other people to hear them because we don't know what it is. We think we're taught when we communicate with people. Oh, Erica says my new favorite word to disarm them is wow. Yeah, that, wow. Yeah, pass the salad dressing. Okay, hello, Chris. So we are taught as humans, I have got hair in my mouth, sorry. We are taught when we communicate that it's a two-way street. It flows back and forth, and that the aim of the situation is to have some understanding of one another, right? I mean, is that not what, if I said, hey, let's talk, Bonnie, would you not like think we're talking to each other? Not, but with a narcissist, and especially if they are cornered, caught, have something to protect, something to hide, means when they use this, right? That's not the way the communication is. But the thing is, we still are operating with the assumption that we're trying to communicate. So you have to understand that anything said once the gaslighting starts is not worth engaging with. Anything, no matter what it is not worth engaging with. It's like talking to someone with their fingers in their ears going la, 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 while you're talking. It literally, if anything is said, if you do say anything, it's ammunition for them to use later on. It will be turned against you. It'll be turned on you. They'll project and blame shift with it. So you have to understand it's a totally different way of communicating when you're stuck having to deal with someone who is gaslighting you and using word salad. Gray Rock, you like that one, Bonnie. I feel underestimated that the narc thinks I'm stupid, says Rebecca. I asked, how does it make you feel? Yeah, it makes you feel all kinds of things. Like you said, stupid, like they think you're stupid. It doesn't necessarily have to make you think you're stupid, but underestimated, absolutely. Confused. You might think, why did that even happen? I can remember like retracing the conversation in my head, trying to track it back to when it went off track and not being able to put my finger on it. Like I said, total amnesia for a lot of this stuff. It was really interesting to try and like dig out the memory and like, what happened? How did I navigate this? What actually went down? Anyway, and yeah, you may feel defeated and unheard because you're not being heard and you are being defeated. It's the way it is. The thing is, the word salad will always win if you want to think of it as win-lose. But real communication and real understanding and true, like actual communicating with someone, it isn't a win-lose situation. It's an understanding and it's a coming together. And with a narcissist, you can't do those things. So let them win. Let them have it. Let their stupid word salad be the thing they walk away with pride for. Who cares? Who cares? It doesn't matter because what they're saying doesn't matter. What they're saying is nonsense. Anyway, I like your giggles, Bonnie. And I know you're not seriously going to do that. Well, I hope you're not, but I get it. Bookworm says, I literally feel dizzy. Yeah, right? Like literally feel like you literally dizzy. And yeah, like, right? Yeah, totally get that. I'm laughing, but it's not funny. Bonnie says, under their spell. Yeah, it feels like you've been pulled into something that wasn't yours to be pulled into, right? And you're under the spell of it then. You're completely wrapped up in it. And that's why I'm saying that the gray rock is really important here, because gaslighting it's just pure, it's horrible. I was literally worried and thought my narc needed mental help. Right, exactly. This is Rebecca saying, so I even tried harder to explain and help them understand. You just summed it up, right? That's really good, Rebecca. Thank you. That, yeah, because they do look a bit crazy. It makes no sense why someone can't answer a direct question and why they say the things they say instead. Makes them look like they actually need help. And it does. It pulls on your empathy. And because, like I said, most of us are people who are curious, who are interested in communicating. We are not people who just sit there and go, uh-huh. We're not like, we're interested in communicating and connecting. We like the connection with other people. Most survivors, from what I've seen, are people who love connection with other people and need it. And we're also curious and intelligent. And of course, yes, we go and we try to explain to help them understand. And the more you explain, the bigger the salad, right? Bonnie's funny today. Let's see. Okay. They don't want to give any information and they are not interested in what you say. That's Persiana. Yeah, that's true. They're not interested in what you say because they're defending. Once they go into the gaslighting, they're in automatic defensive mode and it's not going to stop. There is no calming it until whatever it is that particular person has for their turnover when they stop the gaslighting, right? When the gaslighting episode is over. And it's usually they have to run themselves through it until or often they need you to apologize at the end of it, or they need you to make it better, right? I don't know. There's all kinds. That's a whole nother topic, but yeah. Let's see. Mo Cowboy, yep, not being heard, being told you are not capable of an intelligent thought, not able to follow the nonsensical, dazed and confused, questioned, asked, no answer, not worth being listened to is the message. That's a very good description, Mo Cowboy, of what it feels like. Let's see. Chris Ramsey says, I feel under a spell, defeated, misunderstood, and unheard. And the narcissistic exes that gaslit me with being single, them married, and narcissistically abusing someone else. Yeah, it's heartbreaking because what are you trying to do when you have the word salad? This is what's so infuriating to me. It's one thing if it's like two people arguing over nothing, but what are we trying to do when this hits us? We're trying to communicate and we're trying to be understood and we're trying to relate. We're trying to relate to another person. And instead what we get back is feeling under a spell, defeated, misunderstood, unheard. And what did Mo Cowboy said? He had some other ones. Incapable of intelligent thought, dazed and confused. Right. Not good, right? Why do they do it? Here, let me keep going here. Can be reverse word salad as target not being heard. Then bring forth more verifiable, pertinent data, raises voices. They are told they are the crazy one. Oh, yeah. How's that reverse? I'm a little confused what that means, but I think I get the point of it. Let's see. Rebecca says, I didn't know it was deliberate until I caught the narc smirking while I tried to explain our taxes. Okay. Right? They, yeah. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Why does the narcissist do this? What does it get? What does it give them? What do they gain? What do they gain from this? Why does it keep happening? Well, they use it to deflect any accountability. Like any gaslighting tactic is used to get away with something and to deflect and not have any accountability to anybody else except their own ego and their own beliefs, their own wants, their own wishes, their own thoughts, right? It's all about self. And so this is a really powerful and effective way of completely deflecting any accountability. They use it to derail you so that they don't have any accountability, no responsibility, and they use it to frustrate you and get a reaction. And what does that cause? Someone said it earlier, it's the negative supply. They need the negative supply. They need the supply of all kinds. So yeah, again, gray rocking helps to reduce some of this. The answer really is get out, go no contact, right? That's the that's the big picture answer. But if you're in it and you can't, or for whatever reason, or one of them's your boss or something where you just can't get away, then yeah, it's gray rock it. Nod your head. Uh-huh. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I hear you. I know what you're saying. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Right. Oh gosh. It's not worth the pain it causes. That's the point. It also takes the pain of the original thing and you never have validation ever. You're never heard, and you're never, they never speak to, well, yeah, kind of said that. Let's see. Okay. All right. Any questions or anything else you guys want to talk about with this, or anything unrelated? Let's just get going with questions, and we can change topics now, unless you got more. What I might Lise, unless he looks in a rageful mood. Let's see. Someone suggested to ask them to further explain every accusation they make. Okay, here's the thing. It depends on what your relationship is to them, the nature of how well you can detach from what's being said. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of us are better at detaching, and others of us take things in to the point where we all take it in, but where it is affecting them in a way that's really, really negative. So asking them to explain every accusation can lead to, well, I feel like that can lead to more gaslighting. Like, I feel like that's just poking the bear, Maybe I'm wrong. But I feel like that's not, it depends on the situation. Like I said, Rebecca, I'm trying to picture what situation that would work in, where I'm thinking like a parent, maybe a narcissistic parent, where you're not going to go no contact. You've chosen not to, and you have to. So if that's the case, let me backtrack here. If that's the case where asking them to explain every accusation they make would be effective, I would think it would have to be very cut and dry, succinct, to the point, with the fewest amount of words possible, so that there's nothing for them to play with, right? We do get validation. Use it. We can reread what has actually been written. Trust what we heard. Self-trust, self-validation. Mokabe, that's totally right. I meant no validation from the actual interaction. In other words, if we're having a healthy interaction, there's validation happening when I say, you hurt my feelings here, and a person says, oh, wow, really? I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. Or, how did that hurt your feelings? Can you explain it? And you say, and then, back and forth, and there's something, right, in the conversation. But when there's gaslighting and there's word salad going on, there's no validation. However, the internal dialogue that goes on in your own head can be one that is extremely validating if you don't engage. The less you engage in the gaslighting and the word salad, the more you can hold on to yourself. So if you're in a situation where you can't get out and you're being gaslit with word salad thrown all over you, it's almost like you have to internally be the one with the fingers in your ears, and you have to just let their mouth run and the Charlie Brown teacher voice come out of their mouth while you're inside thinking, okay, they're gaslighting me now, but I know the truth of what happened, and there's nothing more to say. I need not explain myself. Not out loud to them, because everything you say they're going to use against you. So to yourself, and that way, what Mo Cowboy says here of trusting yourself and self-validating can start to work a little bit. Chris says, I have spent years in mental health care and on meds getting nowhere when only suffer from narcissistic abuse, and the narcissistic exes that are married to someone else have the problem, not me. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I like this, Persiana. The more you have some great comments here. The more you understand that it is part of the disorder, the more you can detach. You know what? Right there is a really good point, and I want to say more about that. And that is that if you see a person for who they are and accept that that is who they are, it is a lot easier to detach. And honestly, what happens with a narcissist is we have unhealthy attachment. We're over attached to what they say. We overly care what they're talking about, right? If someone is a friend and is a good person in your life and is a healthy influence, if they say something in an argument, you're not necessarily as attached to it as you would be with a toxic person who's manipulating you, because the manipulation factor creates an unhealthy attachment. It's like an over attachment to the issue. So, it's seeing anyone for who they really are and allowing them to speak their truth. We don't want to allow, this is the narcissist truth, word salad. The truth is they're manipulators. They're telling you their truth through their crazy words and through their actions. And the more you can see that and realize that it is a personality disorder and it is not going to change, the easier it can be to detach, because it's not yours to fix. They're not actually arguing with you about the thing that you have a problem with. They're actually just arguing with themselves, or they're arguing through their ego, to diffuse a situation so they don't have to be accountable to anything or anybody else, which is not a relationship. That's a selfish, self-contained world. Okay, that's the truth. That's the truth of who they are. They're not there. They're not on this. They're not living their life for the benefit of other people, for the good of a relationship, to communicate, to connect. They're living their life for self-driven purpose only. We all need a little dose of self-driven purpose, but not to the extreme where we cut everybody else out because of our toxic behavior. So anyway, enough of that. Let's see. Okay, I just moved it too fast and now I've lost myself. I do this every time. Okay, I used to try to get my narc to understand for 30 years. Yeah, it becomes part of the dance, doesn't it, Bonnie? Just got to put on a different tune and dance a different dance. Okay. Let's see. The more you explain, the bigger the salad. Absolutely. It's an exercise in futility trying to get through to the narc. It is, and I kind of just explained why, because it isn't, you're not even speaking the same language. Right? And you're not seeing them for who they are if you can get through to them. That's just the way it is. And I know a lot of people after narcissistic abuse, one of the things that they want, one of the things that they've told me, like when they come for coaching or whatever, like when I ask what it is that do you want for your life, they say authenticity. I want to live an authentic life. I want to be who I am and be seen for who I am. Part of that comes from seeing other people for who they are. And seeing a narcissist for who they are, not who you wish they could be, is, I think, one of the keys to breaking trauma bonds. Right? Okay. All right. Oh, and here we go. And Belle just says almost the same thing. And now your life begins. Authentic truth, beauty in your own spirit. Well done. Excellent. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. But also seeing authentically who other people are. Letting them be who they are. All right. They make you feel like you're losing your mind, which is exactly their intention. Even if it's not their intention, it's certainly like, intention's an interesting word, because I think they're deeper in their deepest intention for most, some, yes, absolutely. But for a lot of toxic people, their intention is self-protection, pure and plain and simple. The consequences and the aftermath of what it causes everybody else is not the intent. The intent is self-protection. I don't want to get caught. I don't want to admit it. I don't want to be wrong. I can't be wrong, that kind of thing. And all of the stuff that happens to the person that is their victim, so to speak, or their target, is it's not like, sometimes it's intentional, absolutely, and other times it's just an aftermath of them protecting themselves. And that's not a way to live a life, right? As somebody else's dumping ground. Okay, let's see. There's a lot of chat going on, and it's great. And I'm just trying to see if there's any questions. If I missed a question, please just repeat it, because I am not really fast at reading the chat. Okay, I try, but okay. Writing down bits I could remember, or even recording when possible, has helped me to see it for what it was and is. Bookworm, that's great. That's exactly one way to start allowing yourself to accept what is in front of you and what is in your life and who is in your life. Like I said, when I started this, the abuse amnesia was strong. Like, I literally couldn't remember actual examples. It's like, it happened, it's real, but you can't put your finger on what it was that happened. And that's kind of unusual for me. So the writing it down is really good, because then you have somewhere to go back and reference. Because I think it's not unusual that this particular part of gaslighting, well, the gaslighting in general, but word salad in particular, is easily forgotten. Until they do it again, and then you're like, wait a minute, I've heard that phrase again. Why do they always say I'm disrespecting them? Why do they always say the same thing? Wait, that's their go-to response so that they don't have to answer my question. You start to see it, but it's seeing it when you're not in the face of it. That's when it's really can be useful to you. Hello, Crystal, Jean. This is not the first chat on my channel. I've been doing this for several months now. And welcome. It's good to have you. I come on at least twice a week, sometimes 3, usually Tuesdays and Thursdays. The times have been changing because my schedule's a bit up in the air right now, but I am here. And okay. If you've subscribed, so that's good. You'll get the notification. Chris says, I've noticed that after a breakup or divorce, I've noticed the narcissistic abuser gets to be in a relationship with someone else or married to someone else, and the victim is single. Yeah. Yeah, they move on because we're not, well, okay, first of all, they can't be alone, because if they're alone, they don't have supply. Most of the time. There are some who are more on the antisocial side who can be alone, and then they have other forms of supply and other ways of dealing with it. But for the most part, I do not like generalizations. I like to speak a little bit like some do this and some do that. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, they can't be alone because there's no supply when you're alone, or there's very limited supply when you're alone, and they need the supply. They actually need someone fueling their ego, or they start to implode. They start to like literally act crazy and not be in the right head. Like, it's very different than just grieving and just being sad. I say just, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very different from what it is for the survivor. And they also don't have the same attachments. So they can replace you like you can replace a cell phone or an object, or, well, that one's broken, I'll just get another one. So in other words, that's how I see it. Like, if the relationship starts going south and it's too much it's too much maintenance for them to have to manage, because they don't relate, they manage down the relationship. They don't relate in the relationship, right? So yeah, they can't, I've hit that point where I lose my train of thought. Yeah, they can't You know what I'm saying? What was I saying? What was I saying, you guys? This always happens. I must be 40 minutes in. 39:59. Yes, 40 minutes in every time. I should just look and be like, Lise, you're going to forget what you're talking about. It's 40 minutes in. Let's go to the questions. Anyway, they can't be alone. They can't be alone, and they move on to someone else quickly, and we are objects, not humans, not another person, right? So it's about ownership. Not off topic, is related for another session. The term blurt outs that can often, can and often do in the middle of word salad. Fascinating subject. They tell bits of their story in the blurt out. Ooh, that's true. I can't think of an example, but I know exactly what you're talking about with the blurt outs. I just can't think of an example of one, but I can feel it, and I've seen it. Okay. Why do narcissists, this is Bonnie, why do narcissists use the same narc strategies? Did they go to narc school somewhere? They all seem to do the same things. Sometimes I think it's an evil spirit. It's juvenile coping mechanisms. It's underdeveloped emotional intelligence. Does that make sense? It's gimme, mine. Right? It makes sense because it's if you look at the ways that, like, just what we talked about today derails a conversation, and you look at the way a very angry toddler that wants their way tries to get a conversation, get their way, and changes the mode of communicating. It's very similar. I think the strategies are the same because they're so fundamentally selfish, and there's only so many things you can actually do to lie and to hide things and to get your way, right? I think it's kind of like that. It's kind of like, well, we also have a social structure, right? And that social structure is set up a certain way. You tell the truth and people will be truthful to you. Well, no, right? All they have to do is go against it. So it makes sense, right? I'm not making much sense here, but I'm going to go on. And that's a good question. And actually, I'm going to think about it, Bonnie. I'm going to try to remember to write that down because that would be a really good topic. Why do they use the same strategies? What is going on? And I think I need to give it more thought because obviously I'm kind of stumbling on it. Let's see. They are like toddlers. It is sad. I think of the day I walk away with true empathy and forgiveness for them, not saying that what they did was ever acceptable. It is not. It's a journey. Yeah, it's true. Okay. Just, yep, the blurt out. Let's look at the blurt out. It's like in the middle of word salad, when I would be reeling and confused, it, being the narcissist, would say something like, yeah, I've been doing that dude for 2 years. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's just mean. That's just mean. Yuck. And then you say, LOL. Yeah, that's funny, Mo Cowboy. Not really, right? Yeah. Result of no empathy. Those of us with empathy also act similar. Exactly. It's the result of selfish, self-driven focus and no empathy, which together creates patterned behavior, because that patterned behavior is set in place to get someone their own way. Does that make sense? All right. Okay. Abuse, amnesia, I have bad, right? I keep getting a little tripped up with it on this talk today because, like, I want to be able to say what's in the back of my mind, but I can't get it to the front of my mind to articulate it out. So you can see, like, even for someone that talks about this stuff all day long with multiple people and multiple groups at multiple levels of healing, online, wherever, it still can get stuck in there and you can't get it out. Right. All right. Okay, Lise, did the narc stop developing at a time in their life? Mine did not speak until age 5. There are likely other diagnoses at play here too. That sounds like there are. Self-harm, punching himself in the face in the temple is scary. sounds like they're possibly, with that particular narcissist, could possibly be, on the autistic spectrum. And again, with the autistic spectrum, not all autistic people are narcissists, but of course, some can be. So I am not saying that those two things are one and the same at all in any way, shape, or form. What I'm saying is that punching yourself in the face, that kind of reactive self-harm, and combined with not speaking till age 5, kind of sounds like there might be some relation there for that particular person. Okay. All right. All right. Any other questions or anything you guys want to talk about in the next few minutes? I have like 5 to 10 more minutes here, and then I've got to go pick up my kid. So, let's see. I'm going back and reading. Anything about word salad? Anything else? Otherwise, let's see. Narcs are like empty soda pop bottle, all empty inside, nothing there. They gaslight their victims while trying to maintain a new relationship as a source of fuel. Yep. Yeah, they're empty, and they can't fill themselves because they need other people to prove who they are, and what they are is important, right? They need that. I'm about to lose my battery, so I do this multiple times a week. Let's just plug that in and pretend I'm not doing it. There we go. Okay. All right. Abuse amnesia is okay. I had shut down the episodes of Word Salad. I could not hear all the blurt outs until I went no contact for over a year, and then the blurt outs came back. Yeah, that can happen too, right? It's like, oh, those memories. Oh, wait a minute. That actually happened. Wait, did he actually say that? He did actually say that, right? All right. It is a horror show, says Bonnie. It sure is. So, you guys, this has been a good chat. I appreciate all of you for coming in. I am going to end the chat today. And unless anyone has a question or anything that they need for their own life right now that I can help with, I'm happy to answer questions. They seem to have no soul. Time and time again, I read people referring to them as zombies, like I did before I even had heard about narcissism. It does seem that way. What you're seeing is the lack of empathy, Persiana. That's like the lack of empathy to someone with empathy is so, it's like a different species, or it's like something, I don't even know how to describe it. Like it's literally felt. And yeah, you can feel the emptiness. You can feel that they're missing something. Lise, we understand the trauma amnesia due to the abuse. Pieces are gone. Sounds like we saw the same. Okay. All right. I think they have a warped soul, says Bonnie. Yeah, I don't know soul-wise. I know that empathy-wise that it is lacking. Therefore, it feels, it's just, yeah, okay. All right. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate and am happy to spend the afternoon with you. I will be back on Thursday. Time-wise, it'll be late morning again this week. I don't have an actual time in my head right now. I'd have to look at what I said, but it will not be the afternoon like I normally do. It'll be in the morning because my Thursday, yeah. So, okay. You're welcome, Belle. Okay, you got to allow that. Okay. All right. You're welcome. Have a nice day, Persiana. And I appreciate you all for coming. You guys have a nice day. Take care. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.